Hey guys, so we're back with another episode of Love is Under Construction.
Today we're going to be dealing with a very sensitive topic, which is domestic violence.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with what domestic violence is, it's violence or abuse by one person against another from a family member or intimate partner.
Here are some statistics from safehorizon.org. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime.
1 in 10 women in the United States will be raped by an intimate partner in her lifetime. Now, according to domestic violence that is experienced by race and ethnicity, 4 in 10 women of non Hispanic, Black American, Indian, or Alaska Native race ethnicity, and 1 in 2 multiracial non Hispanic women have experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime.
2 in 5 lesbian women, 3 in 5 bisexual women, and 1 in 3 heterosexual women will experience rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 4 gay men, 1 in 3 bisexual men, and 3 in 10 heterosexual men will experience rape, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 5 bisexual women and 1 in 10 heterosexual women will be raped by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Now, this is something I've had questions about for years, and I always wonder why people tend to stay in abusive relationships or situations.
And that's a great question because not only you, but I feel like that's a question a lot of us ask. And not only those who are witnessing it, but those who are actually in them as well. And I think a lot of the time people stay in them because they're afraid or they're in denial about what's going on.
I've never been in a physically abusive relationship, but I know women who have been, and I've tried to come up with things and reasons as to why. I try to put myself in their shoes, and there's about 2 or 3 things that I could possibly think of that would cause someone to stay.
And what do you feel those things are?
They're being satisfied sexually, financially. They feel like it's a financially stable situation.
Okay.
And the last one I've heard from multiple people is that they believe that the other person will change. And most of the time, that's not the case. And another one I just thought about is that factor of them being married to that person or them having kids together. So they want to give their kids the best possible family situation.
And I can agree that those are some of the many reasons why people stay in those domestic violent situations. The question that I have that I'm sure a lot of other people have is why isn't domestic violence being discussed? Why is it a skeleton in the closet?
It has to be out of fear, uncomfortability, and not having that person or people that they can talk to and go discuss that with. Maybe that's something they want to keep to themselves because they're embarrassed or ashamed.
So that also, answers the question as far as why do people stay in those situations as well. The why isn't it discussed factor is the answer to why do people stay, so to speak.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But for me, it's like, when does a person finally decide that enough is enough? When do they finally get the strength to leave?
And this is also another factor we have to be mindful of: people's environment growing up. Maybe they were abused as a child and got into an abusive relationship, and that's all they know. That's what they're used to. They think that's right.
Right. Well, from that sense, as a child, there's not much you really can control. I'm assuming, well, for the most part, it would be abuse from a family member or loved one. So, like you said, that might be what you're used to.
Who do you feel the abuse impacts?
It definitely impacts the two people involved. But I would say that it possibly can trickle down into other relationships that they have with other people,
Right.
family members, friends. I'm sure your loved ones are going to question if they see bruises and stuff on your body.
Or the way you're acting.
Right. When you're around, like, say they see you and you're the person you're dealing with together and you seem scared or tense, or you don't want to upset that person, people definitely can pick up on those things.
I definitely agree. And that takes me to my next point of saying some of the signs you should look for when you think someone is being abused, and not just signs from the abuse, the person that's being abused, but also the abuser as well. As far as the end of the abuser goes, some signs to look out for is if you've witnessed someone being hit, punched, kicked, shoved, choked, or slapped, controlling what the person eat or when they sleep. Some signs of emotional abuse may include attacking self-worth, insulting you, name calling, criticizing, jealousy, possessiveness, withholding affection or acknowledgement, cheating, and lying to you. Psychological and sexual can include threatening to hurt you or your loved ones or your pets, controlling the time you spend with others, or monitoring where you go, damaging or stealing your belongings, forcing you to watch pornography, insulting your sexual ways, forcing or manipulating you to perform sexual acts. And these are signs that are given by liveyourdream.org. And as far as the person who's being abused, some signs to look for are things like paranoia. If you're noticing bruises of any sort on their body, them having low self-esteem, being isolated and withdrawn, not being their normal selves. And I know a lot of these signs from the end of the abuser and the person being abused, because this is something that I know many people have gone through personally, and it's not a good experience to watch a person go through. And essentially, you're not just watching a person go through that, you're going through it with them. because you're listening to the stories, you're, you know, trying to protect them from the danger. So it's not just watching them go through it, but you're going through it with them as well.
Typically, when we think of abuse, well, I know when I think of abuse, my mind automatically goes to a woman being abused, but there are men that are abused as well. Not so much physically, but I feel like it's more so verbally, emotionally, and mentally. And I say this in regards to, let's say I'm with my girl and I do something that she doesn't like or agree with. She might start throwing me under the bus, being negative, like saying I'm stupid, you're worthless, why am I with you? You can't do nothing right. That stuff takes a toll on men, believe it or not.
Right. So when we're in relationships, again, going back to the fact domestic violence isn't just intimate, but also family relationships, you have to be mindful what you say to a person. It doesn't matter if it's anger or frustration or whatever. We get it. We're human. But you have to be mindful that that other person has feelings as well. So what your outbursts of anger may have been to you, it could be a lifetime of hurt for another person.
Don't forget the fact that words do hurt. And they're like, words are like a bullet from a gun. Once you shoot it, you can't take that bullet back. Once you say what you said, you can't take those words back. The damage has already been done.
And for those who think physical, emotional, or psychological, financial, I can keep going because there's so many forms of abuse. One is worse than the other. No, they're all bad. They're all hurtful. No one wants to be abused, especially if the abuse is coming from people that who we think love us, people who we think will protect us and nurture us and uplift us. Abuse hurts all the same, no matter what form it's in. And as far as the seeking help part of it goes, I would definitely advise not just the one who's being abused, but the one who is doing the abuse to seek help as well. Because obviously something is wrong.
So, how does one go about getting that help? Who do they talk to? Who do they approach? What if they feel like they don't have anyone that they trust and that they can talk to about something like that?
Right. Well, I feel like the first step is like they say is admitting there's a problem. Again, whether you're being abused or you're doing the abuse. Talk to yourself first. Admit that there's a problem and acknowledge that something needs to be done. And if you don't have family or friends you could necessarily go to, there's there are an array of resources you can use as far as seeking help, hotlines, internet.
There's programs for women that have been abused. So.
Yes, not just women but men as well. There's so many different resources out here that we have access to. We just have to have the ability of wanting
and the courage
exactly to tap into those resources.
So, how do you feel about emotional and mental abuse? Because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand.
They definitely do go hand in hand because when you have that mental abuse, there's emotional aspects of it. Or when you have the emotional abuse, there's mental aspects of it. Because when you think about it, your emotions are connected to your mind. So they definitely go together. You can't have one without the other, pretty much. You can't be emotionally abused and it doesn't mess with you mentally.
Right.
Or you can't be mentally abused and it doesn't mess with you emotionally.
Who do you feel like suffers more from emotional and mental abuse, men or women?
Definitely women,
Mm.
going by personal experience as well as the statistics.
When I think of emotional and mental abuse coming from a man, would that be like the man not showing any affection or not wanting to communicate about things or be open with you?
Again, and that were some of the things that we got off of the website, or that was some of the things that was pointed out via the resource online, that if a person is withholding affection from you, cheating, lying, in relationships, that's going to cause emotional and mental pain.
The last type of abuse that we have to talk about is financial abuse. I'm not letting anybody get in the way of my money. So, any sign of you trying to stop me from getting it, or I feel like you're hindering me or holding me back from progressing financially, I'm going to leave that situation.
Some of the signs of financial abuse: stealing from the person, first of all, withholding money, ruining credit, and even something like stopping your partner from getting or keeping their job, because that affects their financial stability.
And I just can't understand why anyone would want to stop their significant other from making money, because that's gonna benefit both parties. So why would you get in the way of that?
Right. And that's totally true, especially if they have children to feed or others to support other than themselves. But again, the question is raised not just financially, but why would you want to abuse someone you claim you love in any way?
If you are suffering from domestic violence, do not hesitate to get that help you need, to get that relief, so you can move forward with your life. If you need someone to talk to, you can message us on Facebook or Twitter, even YouTube. We are here for you, and we will talk to you and help you through your situation.
Right. And again, I can't stress this enough, not just the abused, but the abuser as well. Reach out for help. And one of the resources you can use is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE or 1-800-799-7233. And they are also accessible online. You can chat with them on their website as well.
All right, now, y'all know what time it is. It's time for that You Need to Stop at War. And today's You Need to Stop at War goes to Blac Chyna's mom, Shalana Hunter. Now, Miss Hunter went off on a cancer patient yesterday. Now, Miss Hunter went off on this cancer patient because she allegedly made a comment about her granddaughter, Dream, that she didn't like. And then all hell broke loose. Miss Hunter then posted a picture on Instagram of the cancer patient saying, and I quote, "Your bald-headed ass about to catch a fade on that no-stand head of yours, bitch. Talk about my kid and you dripping hair off your head, ho. This bald-headed near death ass bitch has the nerve to talk shit about my daughter. You know, edges ass bitch. You about to die and you talking shit. You evil, no teeth, beast looking bitch. You one ugly, bald headed, cancer ass botch. See, cancer needs to eat your ass up because you're cancer to other people. You miserable, bald headed, dry mouth, and pussy bitch. You make that bald head look bad for other patients, bitch. You crabby, pussy, not a strand of hair on your ass anywhere as bitch. My mother died of cancer. You low life's bitch. Some bitches deserve it. And you're one of those people, ho. Botch face 3 days to your countdown to the expiration, bitch. You have the nerve to be down in my daughter like that? Oh, you forgot. I creep her page, huh? Well, nah. You nothing ass cum sucking varmint. Miss Hunter. Shalana Hunter. Mama Hunter. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's all I can say. You know better. I understand that you're frustrated, but you can't forget that social media isn't affecting you or your family's life. This cancer patient can't do any possible harm to you. So why give her the time of day? You going off on her just proves and shows how immature you are. Shalana Hunter, Mama China, you need to stop.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this episode of Love is Under Construction. We hope you enjoyed. It's your girl, Lena.
And your boy, Kev. And don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel at Love is Under Construction.
Thank you for listening.